لطفا. حتى نروح نكمل على الأخوة المشاركين، لا نطيل عليكم. أرجو من كل الأخوة والأخوات الذين سوف يتحدثون أن يختصروا الكلام حول 5 دقائق لدعمهم ومشاركتهم في هذه الندوة. هذه وحدة. أما النقطة الثانية وأود أن أصر عليها، وهي عندما أقرأ الاسم لا وأخطأ في مكان ما، لا أقصد حقيقة، وإنما يعني اعذروني إن كانت هذه الخطأ السهولي يكون عندي. حياك الله أبو زكي، يا مرحبا. والموضوع الأخير والأهم، عندما أقرأ اسم منظمة أو شخص لا يعني أنه أقد منا على أخ ثاني أو أخت أو ناشط أو ناشطة أو مناضل أو مناضلة. كلنا سواسية، نحمل هموم شعبنا، ولكن بعض الإخوة نظرا والرفيقات نظرا لوقتهم وهنالك واجبات أخرى، لهذا السبب نعطي الدور لهم حتى يستطيعون أن يشاركوا في الاجتماعات الأخرى الذي لديهم، وشاكرين لهم أيضا وقتهم. Please, if you are giving a statement, just around 5 minutes or less, and please, not to take much longer than this. Thank you so much. أما الآن نعطي الكلمة إلى السيد جراهام ويليامسون من العاصمة البريطانية لندن، وهو رئيس منظمة شعوب بلا دول. هي منظمة يعني معروفة وتعمل من بريطانيا، وأيضا هذه المنظمة فيها هنالك يعني شعوب من حول العالم غير ممثلة، وهي إما تحت الاحتلال أو الاستعمار، ويعني نشطة جدا بحضورها في البرلمان البريطاني وباقي البرلمانات الأوروبية. Now I will give the floor to Mr. Graham Williamson, who is the chair of the NWS, Nation Without a State, to give his speech. Please, the floor is yours, and just around 5 minutes, Graham, as we have lots of speakers. Go ahead. Floor is yours. Graham.
Hi, Faisal. Thank you very much for the introduction. We do obviously have many speakers, as you say, as many speakers on my screen. And obviously the Ahwazi cause is very popular.
Thank you.
Everybody wants to speak.
Yes.
But it's an important, obviously, cause, as in, I believe, about around 140 regions, nations around the world are looking for some kind of autonomy or independence. And the rest of the world tends to ignore it. Similar with Iran. And let's be fair, we've been here before with other stillborn Persian revolts that promise a lot but deliver very little. Of course, it is not easy to stage a revolt against a tyrannical regime using ruthless methods. It is ironic and frustrating watching Western media that only reports upon Persian resistance, but never non-Persian resistance. Given, however, that non-Persians are probably in a majority in the whole of the country of Iran, it is a missed opportunity for all concerned. Previously, I referred in other conferences the importance of lobbying Western powers, especially the United States, on the situation in Iran, the wider cause. Frankly, the latter, particularly America, are only interested in making a difference in pulling down the regime. But they're always on the cusp of either intervening directly or supporting non-Persian resistance, but never really talk about non-Persians. They seem to be oblivious to your existence, and that needs to change. I understand some have suggested external powers should break the back of Iran and support the oppressed nations within that area, like the Ahwazi, the Kurds, the Turkmen, the Baloch, and the South Azerbaijanis. Should they do so one day, I'm sure the Iranian regime would soon fall. Thus, I urge the suppressed nations that are on here today, and those that are not, to redouble their efforts within the West to showcase their causes, not just on the basis of what is just and the general cause of self-determination, but what is the most effective means to break up the Iranian empire which is what it is, and ultimately the regime. You have the power, you just need to persuade the world. And it's very clear that if the world understood that Iran is an empire, it is not just a theocratic regime which oppresses the people of Iran, but far greater than that, I'm sure there'd be an awful lot more sympathy towards your causes. And this is the reason, in my opinion, why the United States, for instance, which is probably the only power in the world at the moment that could actually physically change things, it doesn't do so because it just sees everything through the Persian lens. If it understood that there are nations within the Iranian Empire that wants freedom and that doesn't want to change the regime of Iran centrally, just wants to be free, you would win, in my opinion, a lot more support. And I'm aware that there are politicians and peoples and academics in the West who support your cause. It's very much a minority. And in fact, it's the same everywhere. Nobody is picking on Iran or the Persian, non-Persian peoples. It's just simply that the world turns its face away from change. It doesn't want to, it believes in this concept of territorial integrity, which I don't believe means what they say it means. It means stopping people invading other countries. It doesn't mean to say that the borders should stay the same if they don't represent the central government. So I think there's still a lot of hope for the Ahwazi and the other suppressed nations, but I do urge everybody to look to the West and keep campaigning to show that Iran is an empire. It is not a nation in its own right. And there's many empires around the world, but it's just that nobody talks about it. So I frankly urge you to do that. And Nations Without States, which supports all self-determinist causes, all 140, will always be with you. And hopefully one day I will come on to speak at your conference, Faisal, and talking about your ultimate victory. And of course, all the other suppressed nations, not only in Iran, but around the world. So thank you very much. And I wish you well and hope this is a very good conference, as the previous ones have been. Thank you. I think you're on mute, Faisal. Sorry.
Yes, thank you so much. Thanks, Graham. Really grateful for your input and thanks for your time. And we are really great. And let me just translate shortly about what you have said in Arabic so our attendees can. السيد جراهام تحدث حول أنه هنالك 140 شعب حول العالم يتطلعون إلى الحرية ويريدون يكونون يعني يوصلون إلى العدالة اللي يريدوها، ولكن ليس سهلا أن تكون مناضلا في هذا الوقت نظرا للمخاطر التي تحيط به. أيضا دعا أنه إذا يريد أي شعب يعني أو مناضليه الموجودين في الغرب يعني يعرفون عن قضاياهم، وصى بأهمية اللوبيات في الدول الغربية وخاصة في الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية. أيضا يقول أن أمريكا تريد تسقط النظام الإيراني ولكن إلى الآن لم تتحدث مع الشعوب غير الفارسية، وهذه نقطة ضعف بالنسبة لأمريكا حيث الشعوب غير الفارسية هم الأكثرية وباستطاعتهم أن يقلبوا الطاولة على إيران. وقال أيضا يود أن ينصح الناشطين الموجودين هنا بالعمل على رفع الوعي الغربي لقضاياهم العادلة، وخاصة في الدول الغربية هنالك عدد قليل من السياسيين للأسف يعرفون عن قضاياكم، وإذا تواصلتم معهم راحوا يدعمون قضيتكم. فيقول إذا يوما من الأيام حسيتوا أنه شعوبكم تحتاج إلى رفع الوعي أو التواصل، احنا موجودين من خلال منظمة شعوب بلا دول وحاضرين أن نساعدكم على هذه القضايا. طبعا حتى لا نطيل أيضا thank you Graham, really great. الكلمة الثانية هي كلمة مسجلة للسيد يوحنس، والسيد يوحنس هو من الداعمين للقضايا الشعوب غير الفارسية، فسوف يعني من خلال اليوتيوب أعمل على أن أتسامح لكم باللغة الإنجليزية. Next speaker is Mr. Johannes who is the from the Organization for the Defense of the Right of the Nations and Minorities. Let me share his speech. He could not make it, but he recorded one speech. I hope you can hear it.
Good evening, good day for everyone who's part of this important event. Of course, I am most grateful for your invitation. I am very sorry that I cannot be with you live. I thank Abu Sharif for the work he's been doing and for the invitation. Obviously, we stand at a very crucial moment. When I'm recording this message, I have no idea what will happen in the next week. And I think none of us does. And today it's Tuesday. So what is important? Now, you may know I am the director of SALUX think tank, European political think tank. So I look at the current situation with regard to Iran from a European perspective. Let me be very simple. From the European perspective, when it comes to the recognition and the legitimacy of the non-Persian nations in Iran, a number of things are crucial. First of all, that you cooperate amongst yourselves, that you have unity amongst yourselves, as Arabs, as Baluch, as Kurds, as Azeri Turk, and so on. So this is the first thing. And this is the most important thing. This is fundamental for everything else. The next step is that you, as nations, work together and show that you have the ability to work together with all the other nations. And thirdly, that if the regime will fall, in that scenario, it is absolutely critical that you seize control of the areas where your people are the majority, that you seize control of the police stations, the medical facilities, that you create checkpoints, and that you raise your flags, and that you make this visible online, that you have control, that you make sure there is security, that you make sure there are no atrocities, that you make sure that you have no fights with the other nations, that you make sure that there is no looting, no revenge killing, and so on. This is absolutely critical if you want to be taken seriously by the 27 nations that are in the European Union, that are crucial for the next phase of what happens next in Iran. So I hope that you stay on the path of mutual cooperation, of internal unity, and prepare yourselves not just to complain, not just to be against, not to just say that somebody else will have to solve the problem, but that you do you, that you think not from the mindset of victims, but from the mindset of governing, from the mindset of controlling, taking responsibility for your people in your areas. And that you do so with a clear idea that after that, you will have to cooperate with all the other nations to untangle this regime and the aftermath of it. So it is absolutely critical that you now come together, that you work together, that you're not complaining, but acting, that you not talk about what others do, but that you talk what you will do. That you don't complain about what others say, or others shout, or others do, but that you consider what you will do in your areas when the regime falls. This is the most important thing. If you have make that jump in your mindsets and you get out of the complaining and into the governing mindset, that is the most crucial thing you will do, because it is ultimately about the well-being of your people and of all other nations, and not about who is right or who is wrong, but what will happen actually on the ground. And if you can make sure that this will go with the least possible bloodshed and the least possible disruption. So this is your new task, to think and to act in such a fashion that you already consider what you do when the regime falls. Not that you complain about other parties, not that you complain just about what is happening, but that you act and think about what is going to happen, and not just that, what you are going to do when that is happening. Don't point to somebody else. Don't point to somebody else. Don't point to somebody else. Consider what you will do. This is the most important thing. And I believe that you can do a lot. That you can do all these things. Because if I don't believe that and you don't believe that, what are we doing? So you have to believe that you can take control, that you can provide security, that you can provide stability, that you can provide diplomacy, that you can provide cooperation, that you can maintain unity. It's not about anybody's ego, about who's boss and who's important. What is important, what is happening now, which will shape the next 100 years. It's in your hands, not in somebody else's. And what you will do will determine how others will respond to that. So the ball is in your court. It's up to you. And stay together, work together, think ahead, not backwards, forwards. And then we will get where we need to be, whether it's now or later. This regime will fall, and we will have to act and think accordingly. Thank you.
شكرا لكم أعزائي. الآن حتى thank you everyone, and now we will go for, because we don't have time, we don't want to make it lengthy, so you will get the importance of this conference. Now I will give the floor to Dr. Muhammad Farajallah, who is from the Arab Ukrainian Council. So Ukrainian Arab Council. دكتور محمد فرج الله.
أي نعم، السلام عليكم.
حياك الله. لو تفضلت في 5 دقائق. حياك الله وأهلا وسهلا.
أهلا وسهلا بكم. طبعا الأخوة الكرام، ممثلي الجبهة الديمقراطية لتحرير شعب الأحواز